Hello everybody, it's Ocelot, and welcome to my first DLC build guide. This guide is going to be centered on the Death Knight's Longhafted axe, and it's going to be a strength faith build where you can mix in different incantations. We're going to be using lightning incantations, dragon cult lightning incantations. However, you're going to have good enough incant scaling where you can use almost any incantation as long as you put enough faith. After this fight with Maliketh, as you can see, we easily take him down. I'm going to show you the fight against Radagon and Elden beast. There are going to be DLC boss spoilers. I'm going to show one DLC boss with this build. And again, that's going to be at around the 3-minute 50-second mark. Now, as soon as I picked up this weapon, it quickly became one of my favorite weapons in the game. It mixes up the Blinkbolt Ash of War with the Longhafted axe. If you press the heavy attack after pressing the Ash of War button, your character does a jump and then a slam down with the weapon. This does mostly physical damage with lightning damage. The lightning damage from the actual weapon scales with faith. The area of effect after the slam down scales with dexterity. The dexterity scaling is only E, so we're going to be going into strength and faith mostly. After we finish up this fight, I'll show you the stats. Also, I'll show you the recommended equipment for maximum damage, but I'm also going to show you equipment that I recommend to use in the DLC if you're like me and haven't learned their movesets just quite yet. Now, the Ash of War Blinkbolt Longhafted axe does a dashing attack, and during this dashing attack, your character has iframes. So if you time it correctly, you can avoid many enemies' attacks. Now, as you saw, this build isn't optimized for Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike. We almost took off half of Elden Beast's health at the beginning. Knight's Lightning Spear is also quickly becoming one of my favorite incantations overall. It does great damage, fully charged. It's basically Lightning Spear with 6 smaller spears if you fully charge it. Uncharged, it's 4 other spears with the Lightning Spear. Now, as you see, we got a stance break here. That's because Knight's Lightning Spear does 30 total stance damage if everything connects. Here's our level 150 stats. We have 60 Vigor, 20 Mind, 22 Endurance, 66 Strength. We get 76 from the Strength tier, 36 Faith. Everything else is at base. We have Golden Vow, Howl Shabriri for buffs. We have Knight's Lightning Spear, Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike, and Frozen Lightning. Let's go and take a look at the equipment. We have a plus 10 Death Knight's Longhaft axe. We have a Clawmark Seal at plus 25 with 284 incant scaling. Haligtree Knight Helm for the plus 2 faith. Death Knight Armor and Gauntlets for the plus 2% damage per piece to the Ash of War and our Dragon Cult incantations. Scaled Greaves, Ritual Sword Talisman, Godfrey Icon, Lightning Scorpion Charm, Shard of Alexander, and in the Physic we have the Strength tier and the Lightning tier. For DLC bosses, I recommend swapping out the Godfrey Icon and Ritual Sword Talisman for a defense talisman such as a Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman and the Crimson Seed Talisman plus 1. Now here we have a DLC boss spoiler. Here's the same build against Radagon. At this point in the game, I'm level 130, and the only stat that I'm missing points is the strength stat. So I'm fighting here with 20 less points in strength, and as you can see, we're still doing monstrous damage. Again, I have the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman and the Crimson Seed Talisman plus 1 instead of the Godfrey Icon and the Ritual Sword Talisman. My Scadutree Blessing at this point was at level 13. Now when we finish this fight with Radagon, I'm going to show you where to pick up the items that we got from the DLC, such as the Knight's Lightning Spear, the weapon, and the armor, and the Crimson Seed Talisman plus 1. I will show you their locations, and then after I show you their locations, I'll show you exactly how to get to those locations right when you enter the DLC. So you can start this build right when you enter the DLC, and you'll only have to kill the Death Knight to get the weapon. You don't have to kill any other bosses to pick up the armor or to pick up the Crimson Seed Talisman +1. And down goes Rolana. Let me go ahead and show you the locations to everything. And after I show you the locations, I'll show you the full route. So for the weapon, Death Knight's Longhafted Axe and Knight's Lightning Spear, you're going to get it from the Scorpion River Catacombs. This is going to be in the northwest section of the map. In the southern section of the map, you're going to get the Crimson Seed Talisman +1 at the Finger Ruins of Rhea. And for the Death Knight set armor, it's going to be in the center of the map, the Dark Light Catacombs. We're going to be interested for our build in the armor and the gauntlets. If you'd like to see the full route on how to get everything, continue on with the video. If you're done watching, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. So here we are in Graveside Plain, right at the beginning of the DLC. You're going to want to head north towards Castle Ensis to the Castle Front Grace along this path. We're going to be going to the Fort of Reprimand, then the Morth Ruins. So just head directly north. Now I'm only going to be picking up relevant graces. However, I recommend you pick up all the map fragments, all the graces. I recommend exploring. I recommend picking up as many Scadutree blessings as you can. To my knowledge, you can get up to +12 without having to kill anything. Here we go across Elec Great Bridge. We're going towards Castle Ensis. We won't be going in it though. We're going to hang a right and go southeast. Now you can go against Castle Ensis to do the skip, or you can take this path this way as well. So here we're going towards the Fort of Reprimand. There's going to be a Spirit Spring, so hopefully you picked up either Margit's or Moog's Shackle. I'll slow it down right here. Now I've already broken it, but this Spirit Spring won't work unless you find the pile of rocks, or you can use Moog's and or Margit's Shackle to open it up. So we're going to take it up to the Fort of Reprimand. And we're just going to run through the Fort of Reprimand. We're going to want to pick up the Grace right outside the Morth Highway south side of Grace. And then we're going to head to the Morth Ruins. You can pick up that Grace if you like. It's not necessary for this guide. Here's a crucial site of Grace that you want to pick up. Next site of Grace you want to pick up is going to be the Morth Ruins site of Grace. So let's head north. If you stick to the right side, you can avoid the Ghost Flame Dragon and head right into the ruins. Now from this side of Grace, we're going to want to head northeast. We're going after the weapon first and the Incantation. They're both in the same dungeon. Heading towards the Ancient Ruins base site of Grace, and then we'll head southwest from there. At this point, we'll head northwest, and then west, and into the Scorpion River Catacombs. At this statue, there will be a Scadutree blessing, so make sure to pick that up. So from the Ancient Ruins base site of Grace, we're going to head southwest. There's going to be a couple of golems that you can avoid if you just stick to the left. We're heading towards the Templetown ruins. There's a site of grace there that you can pick up if you'd like, and the other map fragment. From here, we're going to head northwest. Now, if you stick to the left side towards a mountain, you can skip all of the enemies. Just keep on sticking to the left side. Follow the mountain. Now we're heading west, and we're almost to the dungeon. Now made it to the Scorpion River Catacombs. Now here, I am going to speed it up, but not as fast as running on horseback. You're going to want to go to left and just run straight. Here there's some Deathblight eyes, so just keep on running and make sure you don't stay in front of the ice. You can run past all these enemies. You don't have to take them out. There's going to be an area coming up that's going to have the ceiling come down. You'll see my character stop right after this turn. Just wait for it to drop down. Go to the right. Wait in this cave right here. Then continue forward. Stick to the right side. There's going to be a ladder. Now here, I'm going to slow it down to normal speed. If you have them, I suggest equipping your rejuvenating boluses, because there's going to be another set of eyes that inflicts Deathblight buildup. We're going to use the rejuvenating boluses or wait for your meter to go down, because we want to head towards those eyes. Behind those eyes is going to be our featured incantation, Knight's Lightning Spear. It's going to be guarded by 2 imps. After you take down the imps, grab Knight's Lightning Spear. Now head back towards the eyes, but hang a left before you get to them, and just follow the path. You're going to drop down and head left. There's going to be a lift you want to go down. Now we're going to the boss of the dungeon. It's going to be a Death Knight that has our weapon. As long as the Deathblight eyes are not looking at you, it won't inflict Deathblight buildup. Now going back to Knight's Lightning Spear, it's basically an upgraded version of Lightning Spear. It is a slower cast, uncharged and charged. However, not only does it cast 1 Lightning Spear, but if you don't charge it, it casts 4 other Lightning Spears on delay, and fully charged, it'll cast 6 Lightning Spears and do a total of 30 stance damage if everything hits. Now here we have the boss of the dungeon. This one's a little tankier than the one that wields the dual axes. This enemy can also cast Knight's Lightning Spear and has a much deadlier version of the Blink Bolt Longhafted Axe Ash of War. Now for some reason, at around here, he just glitches out. This is not normal behavior, and I wish I would have filmed me actually fighting this boss. But for some reason, he just stood there, and I just took advantage of it. Down goes the Death Knight, and we now have our weapon, the Death Knight's Longhaft Axe. So next, we're going to be going after the Crimson Seed Talisman +1. So you're going to want to head to the Murth Ruins site of Grace. We're going to want to drop down the ruins. It's going to take us to Bonnie Village. On this second mark is an optional emote that I recommend you pick up. On that third mark is a Site of Grace that you'll want to pick up. So go ahead and warp to the Morth Ruins and head southeast into the ruins, and we're going to drop down all the way to the bottom. So once you get to the bottom, you're going to want to head southeast. There's going to be a ladder you can climb up. There's a Site of Grace you can pick up at the top. I didn't pick it up because it's not necessary for this guide. From here, if you want the emote, go ahead and head north. And then we're going to head east. And we're going to start a quest line so we can pick up the Crimson Seed Talisman +1. So here's the Oh Mother emote. After you pick it up, let's head east across the bridge. After you cross this next bridge, you're going to get a message saying that a great rune was broken. You can just ignore it. It just means that some NPC quest lines have advanced. I believe there's stuff that you can miss, so if you want to make sure you get everything, you want to make sure to talk to all the NPCs before you get to this point. So here's the Site of Grace. Go ahead and pick it up. It's the Church District High Road. From here, we're going to head south. And we're going to talk to an NPC in this church that's going to give us a key item so we can acquire the Crimson Seed Talisman +1. Talk to this NPC to get the whole laden necklace. We're going to be able to use this at the Finger Ruins of Rhea. There's actually 2 spots you can use it at, but for the purpose of this guide, we're only going to use it at 1 spot. So here's the general direction we'll be going. And this is going to be the final destination. So go ahead and warp to the Morth Highway South Site of Grace and head southeast. We're going back to the Spirit Spring that we used to jump up into the Fort of Reprimand, and we're going to go all the way down both Spirit Springs. You're going to head slightly northwest towards Castle Ensis. There's going to be an opening down at the bottom by a Miranda plant. Let's go through this opening. Continue heading southwest. There's a revered spirit ash that I had already picked up on that statue. Continue on south. After we drop down in this next section, there's going to be a furnace golem. So you can go around him on the east side, or you can just go past him and stick to the west side towards the mountain. So past the Furnace Golem, we're heading into the Cerulean Coast. Continue to head south. Up ahead, you're going to see where the next map fragment is, which I have already picked up. From the map fragment, you're going to want to head east. Just follow this beach, and up ahead, you'll see an opening to head northeast. Now made it to the Finger Ruins of Rhea. The Site of Grace is optional. I'm just showing that from here, you're going to want to follow the way the fingers are pointing and head to the middle. If you notice, all of the fingers are pointing to the same direction. And in the middle is where we're going to use the whole laden necklace. Again, there's 2 areas like this, but for the purposes of this guide, we'll only be coming to this one. So go ahead and dismount. Interact with the middle. By interacting with the middle, you're going to sound a hanging bell. And this is going to give you our last talisman that we need. The Crimson Seed Talisman +1. So next, let's go after the armor set. That's going to be in this general area, which we need to reach from Shadowkeep. From the Church District High Road side of Grace, we're going to follow this general path. Before we get to marks 3 and beyond, we're going to need to drain the Shadowkeep of the water at the bottom, which I'll show you how to do in this guide. So we're up to the Church District High Road side of Grace. Head northwest. Up ahead, you'll be automatically dismounted from Torrent. You can grab this side of Grace, it's not necessary for the guide. So from here, let's head in this general direction across the rooftops. Just follow my character on screen. The first thing we're going to do is drain the water. So just keep on jumping from rooftop to rooftop. We're going to drop down here in this hole. Up ahead, there's going to be a couple of Fire Knights, which you can take out, or you can just run past. Make sure you make that left, and then another left. Up ahead, there's a hole right there. You don't want to fall down that hole. Up this ladder, there's going to be a lever. This is going to drain the water. But we're not going down just yet. We're going to go back the way we came. And then here, we're going to make a left. In the center, there's a scatter tree fragment, which you can pick up without danger of falling into the water. Across the way, north, there's going to be a lift. Go up this lift, and we're heading into Shadowkeep. Make a left. This side of Grace is not necessary, but this is the storehouse back section. From here, you're going to overlook this rail and jump down. This is the storehouse first floor side of Grace. So from here, we're going to head slightly southwest down this lift. At the bottom of the lift, there's going to be a Fire Knight, which again, you can take out, or you can just run past. After you take it out or run past it, you're going to want to head east, so make a left. There's going to be some Volga militiamen. You're going to want to go down this ladder. At the bottom, make a right, and behind this waterfall, another ladder. Go down to the bottom. There's a false wall by this painting. Continue on, and there's going to be a coffin. Use it. It's going to take you to the outside area of the Shadowkeep. This was going to be where our third mark was. Just keep on running south. There's a couple of sections where you need to jump, so make sure you don't fall down those sections. Just keep on heading south. There's going to be a side of Grace up ahead. And near the side of Grace, there's going to be a way down. So we're going to drop down here. And at the bottom, we're going to continue slightly southeast. At the next mark, there's going to be another section you want to drop down. When you get to the bottom, you're going to want to stick to the mountain, the north side, and just head east. You'll see the opening to the dungeon. And now you've made it to the dungeon. The Darklight Catacombs has the last piece to our build, the armor set. I'm going to speed it up, but not as fast as running on horseback. It's pretty straightforward. Just follow the dungeon until you get to about this point. You want to jump off on the railing. Then there's a hole in the ground you can drop down to the bottom. There's going to be a lift. You want to head down the lift. Continue forward. As you go down, you want to stick to the left railing. There's going to be a section you can drop down. In this room is going to be the last piece to our build, the Death Knight armor set. Each piece gives 2% damage to our Ash of War and to our Dragon Cult incantations. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. If you haven't joined the Discord, there's going to be a link to do that too. See you on the next one. Bye.